All right, you guys, we left Roz and Brightbill on the run from Barb and Shadow. I hope they stay safe. Let's find out what happens in chapter 56, The Torch. Our friends were stuck in that tree. They sat in the upper branches, high above the wolves, trying to calculate an escape. Brightbill could fly over whenever he liked, but Roz had to come down eventually. And when she did, the wolves would be ready. Shadow and Barb stretched out in the shade. They glanced around and licked their fur and sniffed the mountain air. The wolves looked comfortable, and yet there was tension between them. "I'm hungry," growled Barb. "I want to eat rabbits and deer, or maybe go back to the farm country and prey on livestock. Anything is better than hunting a creature that can't be eaten." "You can eat all the animals you like," said Shadow, "after we kill the robot." Barb grumbled with frustration. She didn't understand Shadow's need for revenge, but for now, she stayed loyal to her mate. Day turned to night, and the wolves started yawning. Barb's eyelids slowly became heavy, and Shadow's body became weary. Then the soothing song of crickets lulled them both to sleep. The sight of sleeping wolves reminded Roz of those long winter nights on the island, when wild animals crawled into her warm home and slept. She remembered the frightened look in their eyes as they saw fire for the first time. And this gave Roz an idea. Quietly, she broke off a dead branch from the tree trunk. She took the lighter from her tool belt and held a flame under the branch's knobby end until it was blazing. And then she dropped down to the ground. Shadow and Barb snapped awake to find the world bathed in an orange light. Towering above them, looking like a demon, was the robot. Her eyes were glowing. Her mouth was roaring. In her hand was a torch, flames rippling, embers whirling into the air. The wolves had never seen fire. It was beautiful, and it was terrible. Deep inside, they felt their wolf instincts telling them this ball of swirling light was very dangerous. Their instincts told them to run for their lives, and when Roz lunged toward them, they ran. Barb yelped, Shadow whimpered, and the two wolves raced away from the fire just as fast as they could. Chapter 57, The Stones. At first light, Roz nudged Brightbill awake, and the travelers continued north through the mountains. The goose stood on his mother's shoulder as she marched. His eyes darted around nervously, searching for any sign of the wolves. But the wolves were gone, and our friends turned their attention to a new problem. The weather out there was always changing. Roz and Brightbill had seen many calm, sunny days suddenly turn to wind or fog or sleet or even snow. Our friends expected bad weather, so they hardly noticed when heavy rain came sweeping down a valley. But there was something odd about this rain. Brightbill squinted at the oncoming storm and said, "Ma, why is the rain bouncing off the ground?" Bouncing rain? That didn't seem right. The robot's computer brain went to work and she found the correct word. "That is not rain," she said. "That is hail." Clang! A hailstone bounced off of Roz's chest. Another one swooshed into the weeds. Then the sky opened up and hailstones were everywhere. They tore through the leaves and branches. They ricocheted off rocks and roots, and they flattened flowers and bushes. To the robot, the hailstones were annoying. To the goose, they were deadly. A stone hit Brightbill's shoulder, and he fell to the ground. Roz scooped him up, hunched over, protecting him from the falling stones. But the hailstorm might kill the poor bird if they couldn't find cover soon. Frantically, the robot scanned the area for any type of shelter. And there it was. On the far side of the valley, beside a winding river, was a cabin. It was old and shabby, but it had a roof, and that's what our friends needed most. Roz held her son close, pumped her legs, and thundered across the valley. Heavy hailstones hissed into the grass and squelched into the mud and clanged off of our robot. There was a soft thump, and Brightbill cried out in pain. Roz bounded over to the rushing river in a single leap, landed without breaking stride, and kept running. Now she could hear hailstones cracking against the cabin, louder and louder. The robot stomped up to the front door, turned the handle, and stepped inside. There's Roz running with Brightbill. Can you see Brightbill? Aw. in the cabin. What do you guys think? All right, I want you to, for this chapter and the last chapter, we're going to make 3 predictions. So why is it that Brightbill and Roz can leave, right? They ran away because the wolves ran away from the fire. So first prediction, question number 1, do you think that the wolves are really gone? Are we done hearing from them? Do you think they might come back? I don't know. What's another kind of evil character, bad character that we know about that we thought we got rid of that now potentially might be coming back? Is it the Ricos? I don't know. Tell me, do you think the wolves are going to come back? Do you think the Ricos are going to come back? That's question number 1. Question number 2, prediction number 2. Do you think that there's going to be anyone in the cabin? Is it going to be empty and no one's around and they just have the whole place to themselves? Or do you think that there might be someone or something living in the cabin? What do you think? And then question number 3, prediction number 3. What do you think is going to happen with Brightbill? He got hit by the hail and it hurt him. It hurt his wings. So what do you think is going to happen with Brightbill? Do you think he's going to be okay and be able to fly and carry on the journey? Or do you think he's just going to have to live at the cabin forever? I don't know. What do you guys think? I want you to write down your 3 predictions and get those back to me whenever you can.